You're listening to the Apoyo podcast, brought to you by Apoyo app, available on Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Georgia Giddings, a recent graduate from the University of Lincoln who studied media production. She now works as a 3D artist at Powerster, a marketing agency in London. We talk all things postgrad again. We chat about travel, the pressures of third year, work environments, and figuring out that scary transition from university to the real world. If you are soon to graduate or have recently graduated, you will want to keep listening. A little rundown of what's been happening since you've left university and how that journey has been so far for you.
Yeah, so I left uni in June and I got a job as a junior 3D artist at a creative advertising company called Powerster. So I was really fortunate to have a job lined up when I left. So I was looking for a job while I was at uni and I went through a lengthy process while I was in my final year with my deadlines, doing the application, I had to do lots of different interviews and stuff. And then it was nice to know that I had a job lined up for when I left. So when I finished my degree, I went travelling for a few weeks. I just went interrailing around Europe, and that was nice just to give me some time to put uni to one side and then be ready for the industry. And then I started in July and absolutely loving it.
So you didn't have long in between the two then, did you? From going from university to workplace?
No, not at all. So I found out obviously that I had the job while I was at uni, and then so I was really lucky. So didn't have that stress lingering over me. And then I was lucky that they let me. I had a holiday booked, so lucky they let me do that. And then I came back and started straight away. And it's been amazing. I'm so lucky. But it's a really, really cool company as well. So I'm really lucky.
I'm glad to hear. It's nice. Do you think it was quite hard to balance while she was doing your deadlines and stuff to look for a job at the same time?
Yes and no. I think I was so motivated to get a job that I sort of did it in the evenings, and a lot of our projects in semester B at uni were focused on getting a job, so I was doing a lot of research on what I wanted to do, so it sort of came hand in hand. So it was more, I knew I didn't need to if I stressed myself out it would become overwhelming, but as long as I remembered that the most important thing was getting a degree, and then whatever came after that was up to me. My family and friends were really good. They were like, if you don't get a job, it's fine. It's hard to get a job. It's really hard to get a job after uni. So I think that's just the main thing I remember, just to focus on my degree, and then just put in the extra time after. I basically set a 9 to 5 working day to do all my uni work, and then everything else I did. It never ended up being 9 to 5. I had so many deadlines. Just taking the time out for myself meant I didn't get overwhelmed, which is really important, and especially the last few weeks. So
I think what you said as well about having that support network and opening that conversation with your friends and talking about how difficult it actually can be.
Yeah, the people around you, in your lessons and stuff, are doing the exact same thing as you. They're worrying about getting jobs, and I think just to speak to everyone's really, really important.
Yeah, definitely, because it is a scary thing going into the real world, I suppose.
Yeah. I actually didn't tell anyone, so I applied for the job, and then I got through the next stage, and I didn't tell anyone that I'd got through all the stages until I'd done the interview and heard back. So I was just like, it's pressure from everyone else, so I didn't tell my parents or my friends or my lecturers until I got the job and I knew. So it was good though. I think as long as you don't pressurise yourself, it's not as bad, but it's natural with the pressures of third year and jobs and everything. It is a lot.
Yeah. Have you found any aspect in particular quite difficult to adjust to in the working world?
I think no. I've got such a good. I work for such a good company, and I have such a good team and such a good manager. So the transition from university to my current job has actually been quite good. I've been really, really fortunate. I think at the start it was very overwhelming. They didn't make it overwhelming. I just put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. There's all the talk, 3-month probation and stuff, and everyone at work was like, it's fine, you're fine, don't worry about it, it's your first job. But I put pressure on myself because I wanted to prove myself. But I've been so lucky that even now my probation's up and I know I'm fine. I have weekly meetings with my manager, and we talk all things AR and 3D, and I can ask him questions, and we do research together to pick new things we want to explore, and that's really helpful because I know I can speak to him whenever, but it's nice knowing that once when you kind of got that time set aside in both our calendars to be able to talk and go through things. And yeah, as my first few client projects, I think like I pressured myself, not put pressure on myself, but I did, because I was like, gosh, these are big companies that I researched at uni and now I'm doing projects for them. But the people around me were so good, and they like worked for each step with me, and they still are now. So if I had any questions, I just asked them, because you can't know everything, and that's what my manager said, like there's no way you can, like uni can teach everything, because they can't. So I think just being able to ask the questions and have like a nice environment that I was working for was really, really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say you struggle with imposter syndrome then? Sort of like proving yourself to other people to fit in kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't think it was awful for me, but I definitely did, because I kind of doubted myself, like, am I good enough for this job? Because I was told how many other people applied for the job and how many people I'd beat, and I was like, and my company has been amazing, but I think I was just thinking, like, I've researched into these companies in my final year, and I've watched films, and now I'm working for them and all this kind of stuff, and I was thinking, am I worthy? And I knew I was worthy because I'd got the job, and my team was telling me I was worthy because I'd done everything, I knew everything. I was just sort of doubting myself, and when I was going like on all these cool work events and everything that I'm able to go to, I was thinking, gosh, like I'm really lucky. I think it was imposter syndrome, but it's also just me like not doubting myself, but I just had to remember that I'd worked for everything and I'd learned everything. And yeah, it was just the first few weeks were just hard to adjust. It was not hard, it was just me trying to understand that I am worthy of being where I am. And yeah, I think it's natural though. Like I spoke to people, and a lot of people that I was at uni with have got jobs and they were going through the exact same thing. So it's just believing in yourself, really. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I think that's nice message as well to pass on to everyone. Is there any techniques that you sort of put in place for yourself when you first went into that overwhelming experience in the new workplace? Like, was there specific things that you would do?
Not really. I think me and my team, like, I'm really lucky that we have lots of check-ins throughout the week. So when we're in office, we have a check-in, and then when we're online, we have check-ins. We call them huddles. So we all just sort of check in to see where we're all at. I sort of like a plan, so I map out my calendar at the start of the week, and then I can follow it, and then I can tick off. I make lots of lists, and I can tick things off to make sure I'm on schedule, and just sort of speaking to everyone around me, even the people that weren't in my team, and seeing how they adjusted. Because I knew that everyone at my company had been in the same situation as me. They'd all had their first job before, so just speaking to them and seeing how they adapted was nice. And also, yeah, just researching. Like I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn and a lot of time on other websites, just like keeping in touch with the industries. I think a lot of time at uni you're told to research, and you have to research to put stuff in your essays, but as soon as you get into the working world, you don't really have to, you're not told to do that. Whereas I think it's important just to keep in touch with everything that's going on around you, and then it just helps working life a bit better.
Do you think that's made it more difficult to adjust?
For me, not really. I understand that the industry is largely male dominated. I think in recent years, especially while I was at university watching it got a lot better, but I feel really lucky to be both young and a woman, and it's not affected my progression. My company is really good with pretty much an even split male to female, so at no point working there have I felt that I'm a minority or excluded. I've never felt like that, so I'm actually really lucky. But yeah, I think it just depends on the company, and I spent a lot of time researching where I wanted to work, because although the people say, oh, you should get a job, I think it's also important that you're working for a company that's good for you. And my company, everyone's so welcoming, and I'm the youngest person in the company, but everyone's been so welcoming. It's not affected the projects I work on or how they treat me at all. So yeah, I think before you start a job, just research the company's values, make sure they align with your own, because it'll probably make your experience a lot better, and your transition when you work there a lot better, because the people working there will be similar to you, which is really, really nice.
Do you think it's quite difficult? You said you're the youngest there. Would you say it's quite difficult sometimes to relate to your co-workers? Do you kind of feel like you maybe don't fit in a little bit sometimes, or?
Not really. I mean, we're quite a young company anyway, so a lot of us are quite young, and I've got lots of friends there, and my team are really good. And also as a company, they focus a lot on doing stuff outside of work. So we a few months ago we went to Spain for a long weekend for networking and stuff. And most weeks we do stuff after work, even if this is drinks or activities. We went to a secret cinema event the other day. I think they make sure that we do stuff outside of work as well, so we can keep our connections and keep our friendships. It just makes work a lot nicer as well, because we're all friends as well as colleagues. I think that was important as well. I've never felt like, oh, I'm the youngest, I should be here or stuff. I've been really welcome, so I'm really, really lucky.
We usually like to finish on like quite a nice note. So do you have any advice for people who are soon to graduate?
Yeah, so I would just say do lots of research while you're at uni. Take the time to research, use all the resources, do everything you can. Like, I remember people saying to me, uni goes so quick, and I was thinking, no way it doesn't go quick, but it really, really does. So use that time to experiment, and I'd also use that time to network. I'd speak to people in the industry on LinkedIn or any networking events, reach out to them, gain connections, speak to them about how they got where they wanted to be, because everyone's pathway is different. And I'd also stay in touch with the industry, see what people are doing, because your degree can only teach you so much. Like, I learned a lot of things that I learned, and I thought I knew everything. Then I got into my job and I was like, gosh, I don't even know half of it. So just keeping in touch with the new things that are coming out, and especially when you're in your interview as well, like showing that you are interested in the industry beyond what you're taught in your degree is really important, because employers want to see that you're passionate, and they want to see that you go beyond what your degree teaches you, because then you're likely to go above and beyond for them. And also, I think just trust yourself, trust your knowledge, believe in yourself, as you may receive like hundreds of job rejections, but then you only need one job offer. So don't fall deflated if you don't get the job. Even if you've applied or received feedback or get an interview and you don't get the job, having that experience of going through that process is so valuable. And yeah, just speak to recruiters, and just speak to people in the industry, because everyone in the industry has been in the same situation as you, so everyone understands as well. So yeah, I just network really, and just believe in yourself, and make sure you don't lose a love for what you're doing, because it's hard at uni when you spend all your time doing everything for the deadline. I remember once my deadline was finished, I was able to go back to things I love doing and like re-find my love for it, because it wasn't for a deadline. I was able to do 3D modelling and do research and stuff for things that I wanted to do rather than uni deadlines, which was really nice as well.
Yeah, I think people forget sometimes that we're here because we like what we do. That's why we've chose the course. It's not
yeah, exactly.
You have to submit something for this point just because uni have told you to. Like, we've chosen to do this, and it's because we enjoy it. It's quite hard to keep focus of that.
Yeah, you lose like sight of everything, don't you? You just think, I want to get the best grades and prove myself. Actually, there's a reason you picked your degree, there's a reason you're looking to go into the job you want to go into.
Yeah.
I think especially like now I've got into my job as well, they've set a time, and like we have like a mini project going along on the side where they give us time to work on things that we want to work on. Because they let us research things, it helps our company projects ultimately. So it's nice having that time as well, where I can research things that I want to research and do lots of like R&D, which is really helpful. And just remember like why I love what I do.
Yeah.
Really, it's just nice. I think networking is so important. They say it at uni and you think, there's no way, but just having connections on LinkedIn, and even if you don't speak to them, just seeing what people are up to and seeing the work they're putting out or seeing the events they're going to is really, really helpful. And also I think don't compare yourself. Like, I found it really hard at uni to not compare myself to people around me and the grades they were getting and what they were doing, but we all wanted to do different things. Even I was comparing myself to people that were doing different courses than me, and it's really hard not to compare yourself, but you're your own person. You may live in different areas, like you may be applying for different jobs. I think it's just focus on yourself, and then that's the most important thing as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good advice. Good. I feel so much better just even like one-on-one talking to you, and I can imagine it would be really comforting for people to hear stuff like that, because in it right now it's hard to get swamped under and look at it from an outsider's perspective. I think that's nice.
No, definitely. Yeah, I was in your position last year, and I thought there's no way I'm ever going to get a job. And then when I got the email, it was my whole life had changed. So yeah, just don't put pressure on yourself. I know it's so hard to say that, but but really don't. You've only got a few months left, just enjoy them.
You've been lovely.